Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us here at SoCast for our April webinar, the Digital Transformation Formula and Building a Foundation for Digital Success. Very excited, as always. These are my favorite times of the month doing these webinars. I'm happy you could all attend, and thank you for making the time today. We're going to get right into it. Just as a note, we will be, I hope you'll all stick with me right till the end today, but we will be repeating the session on Thursday as well. So in the event that you have to bow out early or you want to invite some of your coworkers and friends for Thursday, there is still room left available on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central Time, not Eastern Time. Both, it is 1 p.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Central. Just disregard my slide there, but we are very looking forward to having you either join us for the whole thing today or a repeat on Thursday. And please spread the love and let your friends know that they can join us on Thursday if they weren't able to make it today. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get into all the good stuff and the gold. Please feel free to ask questions throughout the webinar. We are always taking questions. My colleague Shay is moderating and available for questions. She will do her best to answer all questions in real time as best she can. But we also ask that you're patient and you get if we're not getting back to you immediately, give us about 24 hours. We're generally quicker than that, but we'll address all of your questions. And you can always share your thoughts, good, bad, or ugly, on our Twitter handle at SoCast and use the hashtag #DigitalDollars. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Eric Eisen. I head up sales and marketing here at SoCast and will be your host for today's session. And we're going to get into it just after a word from our sponsor, which is us here at SoCast. So our mission here at SoCast is to make digital growth easy for radio broadcasters. And we are a solution that has been built exclusively for radio broadcast to thrive in the digital era. The two areas of growth that will really thrive and help you with is your audience growth and your digital revenue growth. And we would love to help any of our new partners, potential partners out there with these two solutions, or our existing partners. If you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'll share my contact information at the end of this session today, and you're welcome to reach out if you're not comfortable reaching out to my colleague Shay, but Shay is ready to book demos on the spot, so don't hesitate to connect with her using the GoToMeeting sidebar where you can ask questions and things like that. Our vision for 2021 is really to provide an integrated content management system in advertising to make our radio partners' lives easier so they can produce and share and promote content out in all of the digital channels that your audience is seeking you out in, so you can grow that audience through page views, through more tune-ins, and obviously with the goal of increasing the value of your digital display and on-air inventory. On the other side of our platform, we also have an amazing revenue toolkit, which will allow you to sell more owned and operated display and video inventory, as well as deliver comprehensive marketing campaigns for your advertisers that include the things like geofencing, retargeting, targeted display. And of course, we don't just provide you with the technology. We like to say we match technology with service, and that means we provide you with all the training, all of the materials your sales team needs to go out to pitch, produce proposals, produce reporting, so they can generate and close deals and have those advertisers coming back. We have a huge array of radio broadcasters who work with us across the world, predominantly in North America, but we work with radio broadcasters of all shapes and sizes, from single station owner-operated entities all the way up through enterprise level in a variety of different markets, from micro markets all the way up through major markets. And of course, we can help you regardless of your digital sophistication level. If you're really advanced, come to us. We can help you take the next step. If you're more novice and you need some help building the digital foundation and getting set up to thrive digitally over the next calendar year and beyond, we can help you with that. So we really have the expertise and the toolkit to help you really set up for success for digital. And that really is what our webinar is going to be about today. And we'll talk about that. Sorry, I forgot this slide. Stick around till the very end, and I will be happy to tell you how you can get an essential checklist for digital success after this. But it also does segue into what we're going to cover today. And we are really going to talk about the key pillars that you need to look at for successful digital transformation and to establish a very solid, robust digital foundation. We're going to talk about a specific formula that's going to help you get there. And then individually, we're going to go through the 4 elements of that formula. I purposely did not include them on this page because I wanted you to all sit here in suspense. So I'm going to let the clock tick down for a few minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Let's get right into it. And again, please feel free to ask some questions as we go. So what are the key pillars for a successful digital transformation? Well, let's get right into the digital transformation formula. It really comes down to the fact that a digital foundation that's going to breed success is built around the 4 Ps. And specifically, those are ensuring you have the right people, the right platform, the right processes, and the right policy. And we're going to break these down over the course of this session and talk about these 4 bubbles, these 4 circles, these 4 pillars, if you will, throughout this session today, and give you some very tactical and strategic things that you can enact and take back to your station to put into practice, hopefully immediately, regardless of whether you're on the SOCAS platform or not. But again, these are the 4 critical foundational pieces, making sure that you have the right people that are engaged, the right toolkit, the right platform, that your processes are well defined when it comes specifically to digital, and to make sure that digital is part of your organization from a policy perspective as well. So the first one we're going to cover are your people, and we want to ensure that you have engaged people and that your people, your human resources, all of the talent you have on board in your organizations, whether you're big or small, has the expertise, and that you have those resources rallied around digital to drive success. So you want to ask yourselves, and what I've done throughout this presentation today is provide you with a series of checklists that you can take back to your team and ask to generate conversation around these 4 elements. And there's also, again, some very strategic and tactical things you can take back related to these 4 pillars. But you want to ask yourself, is your organization set up for success? And is digital top of mind, or at least at the forefront when it comes to people's thought process? Is it important to them? And what are you doing to drive those people? Are you providing them with the knowledge they need through training, providing them with the tools so your sales teams know what they have to sell above and beyond what they've sold traditionally? Because if they don't have a good understanding, again, I am in sales, I know just historically that if I am not comfortable selling something or don't have the knowledge, I am not going to sell it. I am not going to be feeling comfortable talking to my audience about it, and therefore I'm not really going to be successful with that. The other thing is you want to ensure your people are agents of change and have a voice within your organization, that they have the ability to drive change, and that there's mechanisms in place to ensure that they can share their opinions and provide, to be recognized for those. And lastly, a key part of ensuring that digital is at the forefront is making sure that you're able to measure success, and the definitions of success are very clear to the entire organization, whether it's your content team and your sales team. And that's something I really want to stress, is these have to be related to both the sales team and anybody who's responsible for producing on-air and digital content. Because we know that both revenue growth and audience growth in today's day and age is going to be driven by embracing omni-channel content and marketing campaigns. That is really ultimately a sub-formula of the main formula that is going to drive growth. You are no longer a single channel medium as radio broadcasters. Your audience is looking to find you wherever they are, whenever they want, whether they're in the car pushing the old dashboard button, or whether they're working from home in today's age, or on social media through web, app, social. Of course, Alexa smart speakers and smart speakers are more and more critical, but you need to be where they are in all of these digital channels. And more importantly, you need to enable your sales teams and your content teams to deliver into all these channels so they can actually generate results and thrive successfully. Now, when it comes to training, there are so many resources for both content training and sales training. I've gone out here, and again, everybody will be provided with this presentation, so you'll have this. But of course, there are some of the standard ones. Of course, we at SoCast would love to help you grow, whether you're using our platform or not. We do have internal expertise and consultants on hand that can provide you with both great sales training and great digital content training. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're #1 on this list. But there also is the Center for Sales Strategy, CSS, which is excellent. Of course, the Radio Advertising Bureau is an amazing resource. There is the IAB. And one of another great resource, which is very cost effective that you can get on a monthly subscription level, is LinkedIn Learning. And they have a ton of sales courses, a ton of social media management courses and content courses. You are literally talking thousands and thousands of short form video courses of great high quality on LinkedIn for a very moderate price. And again, you can sign on and sign off. And of course, as we know, the radio industry is not without a myriad of consultants and broadcast organizations to help you with this training. But these are some resources. And again, looking at them at both for the sales team and for the content teams or content authors on your team. So when you're looking at what you can sell in this day and age, really breaks down into three, for your sales team, it really breaks down into three different sort of buckets, if you will. What they can sell is they can sell your owned and operated inventory, which would be the display inventory and video inventory that are accessible on your websites, on your mobile apps. It could be social media testimonials and placements as well, but it's the things that you control and deliver. More recently, it's become very critical that radio broadcasters are able to sell what we call ad extension, meaning things like geofencing, geo-targeting, targeted display, retargeting through a variety of different channels, whether it's the World Wide Web or OTT or connected television. OTT is connected television over the top, such as Roku and things like that. But you need, as radio broadcasters, to start offering comprehensive and holistic marketing options for your advertisers to complement what you're selling traditionally, which are your spots. All of that plays a vital role in helping your advertisers deliver results. And as we've discussed in a number of our previous webinars, advertisers are looking to consolidate their marketing suppliers further and further down. So you have built up a ton of equity, trust, and equity with your advertising partners to sell them. Why not try to sell them more? Because if they're not doing digital advertising with you, they are doing it somewhere else. So you should be out there, and your sales team should be out there capturing that share of wallet. And then, of course, there is massive growth in the offerings of digital services to your advertisers as well. Things like search engine marketing and search engine optimization, doing website design and hosting, email, paid search through Google. Being able to provide that, again, that holistic and comprehensive marketing options for your advertisers is going to help you persevere. But your team needs to know what they can sell. Now, my last point on this before we move on is that you can't expect to sell this entire menu in front of you. If you're more advanced, absolutely. But start with bits and pieces that are realistic, and we can help you build up to that. Nevertheless, this is a good comprehensive guide as to all of the digital tools that are out there to help complement your traditional offerings that you've been successful selling. Another very important thing to get your people involved is, and we're going to move in a couple of minutes into the platform side of things, but it is important that you have tools that encourage collaboration. And a great way to do that is to make sure any of your systems or platforms that you have permission settings. That way you can ensure that your team at whatever level they are within the organization, from intern up to CEO, can really contribute and collaborate in digital content development with you. So very important on that. When it comes to metrics, you want to have good reporting, whether you're using Google Analytics or your content management systems built-in analytics, or your CRM sales analytics reporting. But that is an essential way to identify and reproduce success as you go through. So you can see who your top performers are, whether it's from a content production side and an engagement side, or through your sales side. You really need to have that detailed reporting and be able to break down some key performance indicators, KPIs, as I'll refer to them throughout this presentation, so you can share those with your team, identify what's working, equally identify what's not working, so you can jump ship on those strategies or tactics. But that is a very critical thing. And we'll talk more about some good KPIs, good key performance indicators for you throughout this presentation. The next thing you really need to think about is to ensure that you have the right digital toolkit, the right digital platform. And it should really be platform or platforms. You know, SoCast is a unique offering in that we are one integrated platform, but we also understand that there are people out there with multiple solutions. You want to make sure you have the right digital platform for your teams, whether it's your content teams or sales teams, to succeed. And you want to ask yourself, are these tools accessible from anywhere? Are they cloud-based? Can people access the back end of your website, meaning that your teams access it from tablets while they're on the road, while they're working from home? Do they need to come into the office? Do they need to call third-party providers to update this? If they do, and you don't have the control to update your content or your advertisements easily, then you definitely have a pain point. You want to make sure that your digital tools are integrated, so you can easily, as we said, publish out to that slide where we showed you radio everywhere, to all of those digital channels through one sign-in ideally. You want to make sure that you have a partner or partners that are innovative and constantly updating your platform based upon your feedback or their own research, helping you stay ahead of the curves, so they can deliver new capabilities to you. Because if you're static, you're in big trouble. Digital is a constantly growing. There are new social media platforms. There are new user experience trends that you need to stay on top of. So you want a platform that really helps you stay ahead of the curve. And lastly, just like your radio station, you know, dead air is the cardinal sin. You really want to avoid that. You certainly don't want your digital channels, your mobile apps, or your websites going down. You want to make sure that they are stable, that they are secure, to make sure that privacy and data security amongst your audience is confident. And you want to make sure that you have partners or solutions that are easily updated and consistently updated, so you are getting the best security, best data protocols, of course. And really, the right digital platform is the one that obviously is going to help you manage all of your digital from one dashboard. That is the easiest way to do things. I mean, that's what SoCast really professes, is think how much time you can save with a single logon, or really reducing the amount of logons your team has. That's a really vital thing. So being able to manage all of your content from one back end, whether it's your website, your contests, your mobile app content, the content on your player, your social media, etc., would save a ton of time and make everyone's life easy when it comes to digital. Another great way to get buy-in from your people, from our previous section, is to also make sure that you make it easy to update your content. So a drag and drop editor where there's no coding requirements and that people have their own control to manage is a great and valuable tool to have with your platform when it comes to the content management side. So you can have one-stop website publishing. You don't have to worry about, going into each website if you have multiple websites within your network and updating them each individually. Ideally, you want to have a system that makes it easy to update all of your websites at one time through one login. And again, you want to have everybody sort of have their own login to the platform, ideally. In today's day and age, being mobile first is essential. I wrote this slide over the last few days just in preparation for this, and I can tell you that for the websites that are built on the SoCast platform, the average is about 60% of web traffic is coming from mobile web now. I wrote greater than 50% because, it does vary from market to market and size of organization and at different sophistication levels. But the reality is that we realize that more than half of your traffic in today's day and age is being viewed on by the mobile phone. Everybody is on a mobile phone. There isn't a person in the world today who doesn't have a smartphone. That is where the majority of your traffic. So you want to make sure your websites, your social media is all mobile first. And you want to make sure you also have a very complimentary mobile app experience for your audience. Mobile first is more essential than ever. And the right platform is one that is really going to help you drive more revenue, more tune-ins, increase the value of your digital inventory. If you have a membership database or a elite listener membership database, you want to be able to increase that. Having everything bundled and integrated on one platform will essentially help you do that. It's really the benefit of having an integrated solution is having a single supplier solution, one where everyone can get involved, and one where you can simplify publishing omni-channel to the variety of different digital platforms, the variety of different digital channels out there. And of course, you want one that is going to help you engage one-to-one with your audience. And most importantly, you want a partner and a platform that has revenue growth built into it as well. Now, when it comes to looking for a digital advertising platform, one that can help you deliver those omni-channel campaigns, this is a great checklist for you to take away and look at when you're looking for a digital advertising or digital services solution partner. You really want to have a good understanding of the pricing structure and make sure that that is very clear to you. Do they have any minimums? Are they dynamic or fixed cost per thousands that they're charging you on? These are all things that will help you plan for your finances and things like that. You want to understand, are they using somebody else's technology or their own technology? And you also want to understand what sort of tools they offer. Are they looking for you to do all the heavy lifting, or they do the heavy lifting and just sort of front you with a white labeled solution? You also want to make sure that they're going to provide you with above adequate service and have defined service level agreements for turnaround times on support or resource delivery, what type of reporting they provide to you, and what's offered in terms of training. Lastly, In this day and age, there are so many solutions out there that are just providing poor quality clicks, and not really doing any fraud prevention. You want to ensure that there are a variety of fraud prevention mechanisms in place so you can ensure that you're delivering quality impressions to your advertiser, because let's face it, today you're in the retention game. You only really have one chance to succeed with your advertisers, and if it doesn't go well, they are going to be able to go out and find these solutions elsewhere. So make sure that you're getting quality impressions and quality reporting, and you're educating your sales team so they can go and retain those customers time and time again to increase the share of wallet and budgets that they're getting from them. The next P, if you will, that we want to talk about is digital policy. And it's essential that digital policy is codified into your strategies and procedures. And what we mean by this is you want to ask yourself, is digital part of everything you do every day? And is there a clear and defined process for your content teams, for your sales teams? Things like ensuring performance reviews and comps have a digital aspect. You do these things on a regular basis. Is your team being compensated for digital? Are they being evaluated on an ongoing basis for however frequently you are conducting performance reviews on how they are doing digital? How are they contributing to digital? Do you have a policy in place that ensures that advertiser requests and listener requests, complaints, compliments, whatever it may be, are routed quickly to the proper department? And that is really important. Do you have a formalized social media policy? We're going to talk a bit about that in this section, a little bit more elaborately, and provide you with some resources to help you develop a social media policy. Social is critical channel for you in this day and age. It is where your P1s are. It is a huge driver of traffic, as we have talked about. You want to make sure that your team is reasonably well versed and unified on the objective of your social media content and the do's and don'ts of social media. Do you have a defined lead to manage listener data? Obviously, privacy is a major concern in this day and age, digital privacy. You want to make sure that you have somebody on hand who can manage the listener data and who understands how to ensure that that data integrity is held up. And do you have tools and training in place to reduce legal risk? And I'll talk a little bit more about that in this section. In short, really, it's good policy that delivers brand control and cross-channel consistency. So your users have a very clear, defined, brand experience, and that legally you are mitigating risk across all of these channels. Having a built-in membership database not only provides you with audience intelligence for you and your team to provide relevant content to them, but it also ensures that you have the ability to control the database and have that data buttoned down for you, just to ensure that you have legal control over it. Now, when it comes to a social media policy, the social media policy is really designed to keep everyone aligned on what the strategy is. It really is an outline of what you want your people to do, not just what you don't want them to do. You don't want to restrict your employees. You really want to empower them with a social media policy. A social media policy can be a real positive thing and help avoid mistakes in the first place. Remember, just like some of you on here have taught some of your kids, what you post on social media is forever, and it can really have a long-term impact on your brand and their individual reputations as well. So, you really want to outline the do's and don'ts, yeses and nos. And if we're going to break it down just at a really, bare minimum, no cursing, no racism, no sexism, no homophobia, things like that, which are standard, are things that need to be written into the policy. Of course, no pornography and no encouragement of any illegal activity. Obviously, these are the easy parts, but you really want to have these buttoned down very well, so it's all clear. You want to include requirements for timely responses and routing. So again, social media is an amazing channel for you to engage with your audience, for your talent to engage with your audience, for your sales team to engage with their advertisers even. You want to make sure that if people are commenting, complaining, have issues, that somebody is monitoring your social media and that they are responding and routing it to the proper internal resource to make sure that that gets handled and addressed in a timely fashion. Remember to review your social media policy periodically. And of course, it's always a great idea to have a legal set of eyes, just look it over, making sure that you're not breaking any employment rules, and to make sure that you're really, you're really covered off. One other thing that a good social media policy does is, a lot of your talent in this day and age are actually influencers, and you want to make sure that people are managing their personal brands versus your station brands, and that there isn't a separation of the objectives of your radio stations. That should be first and foremost. Their personal brands should complement what you're doing at the stations, and your social media policy should reflect that. One great resource that I did found that is also included in here is I found a great article on how to write a social media policy. It is a few years old right now, but it is still relevant and has a lot of great points. It is written by Jacobs Media, who are great consultants in the radio industry, and Seth Resler, who I'm a big fan of. He's done a great job sort of giving a good outline of this. So please take advantage of that resource that I'm providing to you through them. Copyright is one of the top challenges amongst radio broadcast executives. When I speak to radio broadcast executives, time and time again, one of the things that keeps them up at night constantly is copyright compliance, and specifically when it comes to use of photos or images on their websites or digital properties. What I've done here on this slide as a resource is provided you with a list of stock services which may be of value for you, and we highly recommend that you take advantage of these and that you train your content teams on the issues of self-sourcing images from Google and not allowing them and strictly prohibiting them from going onto Google, finding an image that they don't look at to see whether it's rights free or has, is a Creative Commons that they can use, or what attribution may or may not be required. There are some great resources out there, and we highly recommend that you take advantage of these. Look at Canva and Pexels and Unsplash for some free stock photo services. There are some great premium ones out there like Adobe, iStock, Getty's, of course, and Shutterstock. iStock, I believe, was bought by Getty's, but some of these have consolidated. I think even Unsplash was recently purchased by Getty's, but nevertheless, most of these have a free or subscription level, and some of them have a pay-per-use option as well. But it is absolutely dollars well spent, because I know that everybody sitting on this webinar who has been a victim of this is nodding their head saying yes. At one point or another, they've had one of, some cease and desist letter for copyright infringement for unlawful use of an image that didn't even apply, even if the image was a Creative Commons, but the correct attribution was not applied. They will fine you for that, and they'll find you. Trust me, they have armies of people and bots out there scouring the internet for use of their images, and they're looking for you, because that's truly, they make more money doing that than they do from the licensing. Nevertheless, It is a valuable investment to invest in some of these, and it is valuable to train your team and sit down on the perils and discuss the perils of self-sourcing of images. We also do have on the SOCAST knowledge base, stock image rules and use. It's a document that we provide that is publicly accessible that you can have a look at. I've provided the link for that in this document, and I recommend that you that everybody has a look at that. It also has some great resources. Please note, you are responsible for providing the correct attribution and doing your own homework on this, but this is a great resource as well. So we hope this helps out. One of the tools, going back to your platform, that crosses over here with policy is to make sure that you do have a centralized image library that potentially for you to store all of your owned and operated pictures that you may have taken at local events, local sporting events, local live remotes, local concerts, whatever it may be, as well as potentially the ability to access Creative Commons. To toot SOCAST's horn, we integrate with Flickr and Unsplash, so you have access to those Creative Commons from those two image libraries, and the system will automatically apply the correct attribution. So these type of tools, when you're looking at your previous P, the platform, this is a great value for you as well to see if your current partner has that, or if not, give us a call because we'd be happy to show you how our platform does this. The final P today in today's session is the processes. And process is a very critical thing as well, because you want to make sure that digital is top of mind and part of the station's daily workflow. Within these 4 Ps, there is definitely crossover. As I produce this content for all of you out there, I realized, really you could segment, you could put a lot of these under the other P, but I've tried to break it down into these 4 Ps as best I can. The questions you really want to ask yourself: do you have regular planning sessions within your teams to discuss digital? Because if it's not being discussed, it's not going to get done. Does your platform provide you with easy workflows for creating new content, sourcing images, for example? Is that defined as part of your policy? Again, a little bit of leakage between the process and policy, but very important that those processes are well defined. Does your sales team understand, once they know what they can sell, how do they implement those ads and sponsorship? How do you get that to the trafficking team? How do you get it to the webmaster or to your content manager's team so they can post ads and things like that? Are you posting daily to web? Is that defined using a content calendar? And again, are you reviewing the metrics on an ongoing basis to drive success regularly? So we highly recommend, when it comes to sort of setting the meeting, developing a digital steering committee meeting and holding these meetings frequently and consistently. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they should be weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. I would certainly recommend no less than monthly, absolutely. But you want to have, as part of your steering committee, an inclusion of participants from each department. So you want to have on-air talent. You want to have people from the programming team, people from the promotions team. You want to have people from the sales team, and you will be amazed at where some of the contributions come from. But really opening up the floor and sharing ideas amongst your all departments is going to surprise you in how many ideas come out of this meeting, focusing on your digital content and digital sales. You'd be surprised how many times we hear, wow, talent has been really successful in helping our sales team close deals because they're outgoing, their personalities, and they're amazing storytellers. So make sure that anybody who blogs, the promotions department, any appropriate salespeople are involved. And if they can't be physically in the room, allow them to phone in. Make this an important meeting, week to week, bi-weekly, or monthly, whenever you're holding it. Don't make it a passive meeting, your digital steering committee meeting. It should be as important as any other meeting. You can always use a portion of the meeting to discuss content planning and what you plan to post on the site in the upcoming week. It's really similar to your programming meetings that you do, and discussing what's going to come up as, appointment listing or when big announcements are going out. But instead of discussing, the on-air content, you need to be discussing what's going out on our website. What events are we posting? What is our focus for our online contesting this week, or podcasting, or what type of video content are we going to produce? You really want to use these meetings to decide who's responsible for the content that's going out there, and who's adding it to the homepage. Who is updating the concert listings? God willing, we'll get back to concert listings. Or is there a big sporting event, local, high school, varsity level, university level, or professional level that is coming up? You really want that somebody should be blogging about. You want to discuss these in advance, and you want to develop your content plan and use a content calendar to list out what's going out and when. So I talked a little bit about KPIs, and you want to make sure that you have some KPIs to discuss in these meetings. Key performance indicators, metrics. How many people came to our website and what drove them to our website? Did they come through a search engine? Did they come through social media? All of this can be set up with Google Analytics if you don't have a content management system that builds that in itself. Where are you driving traffic from socially, and which networks is it? Are you investing too much time in Instagram? Because I can tell you that 90% of SoCast partners' web traffic is referred to from Facebook, and the remaining 10% is split between Instagram and mostly Twitter after that. So those are your sort of keys. What is driving things from a keyword perspective, and what type of content is driving people? Is it video? Is it blog? Was there a specific blog or news story in the region that really resonated? Where are people visiting you? Desktop, mobile, tablet, smart speaker? And how quickly are people bouncing from the site? How many came to the site, looked at one page, and left? Because if your content isn't good and you have a very high bounce rate, then maybe you want to look at what content you have on your secondary pages. And again, how much time are people spending on site, or how many people completed a goal, signed up for an email list, or entered a contest, etc. These are some of the KPIs that you really want to review on a weekly basis. We talked a little bit about workflow and how important that is, and within your processes, and making it easy to produce all of the type of digital content that is in your toolkit, and being able to syndicate it out across websites, across different social media channels. Again, tying into making sure that your platform enables ease of this, and making sure that this is not a difficult thing. The more difficult digital is to operate, the more reluctance, pushback, and resistance you're going to get from both your sales teams and, of course, your content teams. And you're much like we showed you earlier, that your sales team needs to have the knowledge of what type of digital content is within the toolkit. Your digital content teams need to know what type of digital content they can produce on your websites and apps and smart speakers. So obviously social media, written content, video content, having audience submit content, UGC or user generated content. And of course, promotions, contests are great drivers of traffic to your digital properties. You want to make sure that you have a good tool that allows you to monitor and publish to social easily. So this is a great way. SoCast has a built-in social relationship management tool, very much like there's Hootsuite. There are a variety of tools that cost out there that can help you monitor different social media profiles as well as publish to them with ease. But ensuring that you have that will save your team time and help break down that resistance to publishing more content. And again, we talked about using a content calendar to identify where you have digital content going out, where posts are going out by different social authors, by different content authors, and you want to make sure you have this content calendar going on an ongoing basis. Some additional key performance indicators for strong performers that I thought I would share across organizations are, again, making sure that social referrals are greater than 50% of your website traffic. A social referral is defined by people being referred back via a link in a social media post to your website. You want to make sure that the majority of your social media posts have links, either back to your player, back to a blog or a news story on your website. You really want to avoid sending them to other people's websites. You want to drive them back to your website. The more eyeballs on your site, the more data that you will aggregate, the more tune-ins, the more clicks to your listen live button, the more page views. That will help you increase the value of your owned and operated inventory. You want to make sure your membership database is growing by at least 20% year over year. You really want to engage your audience. This is a good sign of health that your P1s are growing, because those are the people that are going to take the time to join your elite listener club or enter contests time and time again. You want to make sure that your mobile app is at least 20% of your web traffic. That's a good benchmark that we recommend. And of course, you want to make sure that there's a consistent flow of digital content going out to your websites and apps. You want people posting to social media at least 3 times per day. Again, it's hard to state this because it's really quality of social media posts over quantity. You certainly don't want a day to go by where you don't have any social content, and you certainly don't want it to be boring, poor quality content, but you do want to make sure you have a critical mass and a consistent flow of social media content going out each day. And you want to make sure that you're getting blogs put out, original, unique content that's being put out on your website multiple times a day. That can come from your on-air talent. It can come from a content producer. It can really come from a local influencer, or even one of your local advertisers could write a DIY blog, or 5 back to school tips. Those type of things are great ways, and blogs do not need to be long form. It can be a short quote with a clip. It could be an audio clip with a short description. You don't have to think long form. In some of our previous webinars that you can find at SoCastDigital.com, that's www.socastdigital.com. You can find all of our old webinars. We talk a little bit about blogging and best practices, so you can find those on our website as well. And we really have come to find that digital revenue should be at least, if not greater than 12% of your entire total revenue. That obviously number should be growing. This was sort of at the beginning of 2021 as the standard benchmark, according to Burrell and Associates. We have partners that are doing much more than this, and we have partners that are doing less than this. But this is a good starting benchmark for your sales team to start thinking about what percentage of your total revenue is represented by digital to strive for if they're not already exceeding this. So, question, are you all prepared now for a successful digital transformation? Well, I hope so. I really enjoyed doing this presentation for you, and I just want to thank everybody for attending. Again, I promised that everybody would find out how to get one of our essential digital checklists. Well, in the great words of Oprah, everyone gets one. No problem. You get a checklist, you get a checklist. Please don't hesitate to email me. I will be providing you an essential digital checklist for digital success, and would love to share those with you. They're great PDFs that you can print off for your sales team to start your digital steering committee with, and ask yourselves how many of those boxes you actually check. To wrap it up, let's just go through a little bit of a recap to help you kickstart your digital transformation. Number 1, form a digital steering committee. Get that going as soon as possible. You can use the checklist and decide if use the 4 Ps as your guiding principle. Start generating original digital content. Again, don't think of that as long form. Make it something that you'll benefit from, and your audience will enjoy. It can be short form. You have resources to do that. You'd be surprised who internally would jump on board to do that, as long as your content management system will allow for that. You want to make sure that your sales team has ad packages that include digital, and that digital isn't an afterthought. It's part of it. It's complementary to what you have today. So make sure that you educate your sales team on how to talk digital, how to sell digital, and what to include when they're talking to your ad partners, because this is untapped revenue for so many of our partners, or was untapped revenue. We certainly can help you thrive in that area. And make sure you evaluate your digital ecosystem and ensure that you have the right toolkit to thrive digitally. Lastly, you can't succeed if you're not measuring it. So make sure you have digital key performance indicators and measure them and share them and evaluate them regularly. Talk to your team and your digital steering committee how you can improve them. Review them consistently. That is very, very essential and keys to success for successful sales managers, equally to successful content producers. Again, I want to thank you all for attending. My name is Eric. You can reach out to me at eric@socastdigital.com for this presentation, for your free digital checklist. Happy to provide that all to you. Of course, we're happy to do demos any time of the SoCast platform, which will check a lot of these boxes for sure on the platform side, and helping you get your teams engaged, making sure you have all the right tools. And anybody who signs up before June 30th, 2021 will get 25% off the first year of licensing if you sign up for our web and app licenses. Reach out to me for more details, or my colleague Shay. We'd be happy to help you. Again, we're here to make digital growth easy, and we have the tools you need to help you increase your digital engagement and revenue. I look forward to hearing from you all. Don't hesitate to book a demo. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Share this with your team. We'll be back on Thursday with a repeat of this session. Have yourself a great afternoon, and thank you again for attending. Take care.